key theme of this year's SkyTech Summit is the customer experience. Our next speaker is a renowned expert in the design, development and delivery of products and services that are built around the needs of the customer. We asked Charlie Herrin, President of Technology, Product and Experience at Comcast Cable, to tell us how Comcast innovates for the customer experience and how its customer-centric approach prompted a total transformation of its product suite. Here's what he's had to say.
Greetings from Comcast headquarters in Philadelphia. I'm Charlie, and I'm super honored to be here, and I'm very excited to talk about a topic that I'm passionate about, which is customer experience, and really the customer experience journey that we've been on for over a decade here at Comcast. It really is our North Star, and when we think about customer experience, we think about how are we building the teams, how are we using the data, how are we listening to customers to really deliver on the promise of giving them an enjoyable experience, a useful experience, and something that they want to talk about. You know, we think that's important not only for our brand, but it inspires us as product leaders to make products that people are excited to use. So whenever I talk about customer experience, I often talk about some definitions around customer experience because I think there's a lot of misconceptions about what it is, depending on how it's used. I like to use this chart right here, this picture, and for those that can't see it, that sign says, please use the purpose-made paved path provided. Besides being a mouthful, this is a really great example of if the sidewalk is the customer experience that was designed, the sign is a really hasty attempt at customer service to correct what was actually happening. You know, and I often say customer service is not customer experience. Customer service is what happens when the customer experience fails. Do you need good customer service? Of course you do. But if you really focus on what customers need, and you're really cemented in customer experience and understanding what customers want to do with their time, you can minimize a lot of the customer service that you're having to deal with. And you can really focus on what that customer is going to want to do with that product and then tell their friend about it. You know, this picture also reminds me of really the motivations behind customers. We all can't get more time on this world. And so we tend to want to maximize the time where we are enjoying ourselves, where we're being entertained, where we're communicating with others. And we try to minimize the time that we have to do tasks. That's the utilitarian part of our day. We have to do this, we need to worry about things getting done. And this picture just really reminds me of how acute that is for customers. By using that shortcut, maybe they save 10 seconds on their walk. But that 10 seconds eats into the utilitarian time that they have to spend on something. And so they're going to take it every time. So if we can really build beautiful, brilliant customer experiences, it's by really understanding what's motivating a customer and how they're interacting with our products. And that's indeed where we started 10 years ago. Because the product experience, we realized if we were going to transform, we had to transform everything about our products. Because those are the things customers use every day, multiple times a day, dozens of times a day. It's that interaction that is, you're going to live and die in terms of, are you satisfying the customer need or not? So, again, 10 years ago, we were doing much of what we do today, which is deliver fantastic content and world's internet fastest speeds into millions and millions of homes. But we realized that if we're going to truly transform, we have to look at every aspect of that experience. We were spending a lot of time focused on the connection and sending the bits down the pipe, but we really hadn't focused as much as we should have on how customers were using the products. And indeed, if you got a product 10 years ago from us, it would have looked something like this. This is what would have arrived in your home. And we had tens of millions of these. We bought a lot of these. We bought these, and we didn't build them. So one of the big decisions that we made, that if we're going to go from this to something better, was we have to start building our own hardware even. And so we went from this to an experience that's more like this, where we control every aspect of the customer interaction. The hardware that it's on, the software that displays it, and the actual UI itself. And indeed, more and more the content that gets displayed. So we have a full 360 on what our customers are seeing, how they're interacting, and we can start to change that based on their needs. In the old days, since we didn't control the design pipeline or those very functional, uninspiring boxes, it could take months, almost a year sometimes, to get a change out. But we're making thousands of changes every week to our customer experiences, some of them very tailored to specific groups of customers. And when we do that, we can really be centered on what a customer needs. One of the elements that we really picked up on is this notion of, if you want to be successful with customers, give them something that's very familiar to them, but just make it a lot more powerful. And we did that with our voice remote. This voice remote, we ship worldwide to Sky and Comcast customers. They make 40 million voice commands every day, over 15 billion a year. And it's their main interface into how they get to the content that they want. So I'm just going to show a quick example. We introduced the remote back in 2015, and we continue to make it better. And we have focused on just being the absolute best at understanding what a customer wants when they use that. And this is a great example of something that was so familiar, like a remote, that we made more powerful because we're technologists as well. And we use the technology to unlock customer experiences that they couldn't even have dreamed of before. So in this example, I would say, show me kids' movies that I haven't seen. And you can see what happens with our global technology stack, which, by the way, powers 75 million devices worldwide already. It immediately starts to query dozens of microservices to break this down. First of all, it's a browse service. Then, it's a personalized. We're going to show this to Charlie. Which ones are family friendly? And finally, don't show movies that I've already seen. And the result is this page that you get where it couldn't have even existed before. Hold on. There it goes. It couldn't have even existed before with a bunch of keystrokes. It's because we were able to use the power of what they really wanted to get them to the content so that they can enjoy it faster. And this is why it was so popular. It was simple, it was familiar, but really, really powerful. And it saved them a ton of time and got out of the way of the utilitarian stuff that they have to do and straight into the results that they want so they can enjoy themselves. And that, to me, is the real key to customer service and customer experience. It's about simplifying everything and creating brilliant experiences that just take care of themselves. It's sort of ironic that if you're really good at customer experience, the customer almost doesn't know it. They only really know it when they have to start putting time in and they start getting irritated that, hey, I'm spending a lot of time doing this task. So we've shown how we can scale our experiences to millions of devices and be in millions of homes. The other thing that we think about when we talk about customer experience is, how do we do the opposite? How do we scale to one? Because as it turns out, all these devices have tons of great data on them. As we know, the customers using the product, they're using it dozens of times a day. There's a lot going on. How can we use all that data and telemetry from our network and our products to create an experience that's specific to a user? That is a big challenge. So, how do I know that my broadband is down? Because there's an outage. That it's not my router, it's something that's happening outside the plant. How do I know that the show that I really want to record got moved, and the recording has to happen another time? The more we can anticipate those things and let customers know that we're working on their behalf and reduce their worry as well, that's how we scale to one. Because again, it's not just about reflecting the interests of a user in our products that's important. It's actually reflecting the experience that they're going through at that moment. That's what they expect. Especially nowadays, more and more brands have to show that they are working on a customer's behalf and they understand that customer at an individual level. And so again, this is where technology can really unlock a lot of this. So what we've done is we've taken things like traditional technology like SMS and combined it with machine learning and algorithms and AI to create anticipatory or proactive experiences that customers are surprised and delighted to receive. So it could be, our Comcast Octave technology really looks at, you may have an impairment in your home, and that's going to affect your internet speed. We're looking at every home and adjusting how we deliver those RF signals, for example, so that we can give you the speed that you need and work around that impairment that's coming because there's a signal degradation in your house. And when we rolled this out during COVID, we saw a 36% increase in capacity on our upstream by being able to do this. So again, some of it's silent and users don't know that we're taking care of the experience, and some of it is proactive in reducing all that worry, because again, worry, it falls into that utilitarian time bucket that people don't like. So how do we let them know, hey, it's not your modem that's a problem. We actually have a fiber cut, and don't worry about calling in. We're going to text you when it's resolved, and it's probably going to take an hour and a half or whatever it takes, to get the fiber repaired. Those kinds of messages delivered in a timely way, not all at once, but in a timely way, let customers know that the brand is looking out for them. And we've been able to scale this. We've already sent over 50 million of these messages here in the US to our customers about things like your device could be offline. We can improve the signal let's move it in the house so that your TV is connected better. It could be an outage. It could be a storm mode. So again, our customers love these messages because we're just letting them know what's going on with their service, and we're reducing the amount of time that they're thinking and are questioning what's going on. One of the most stressful examples that have been really successful for us is the moves area. This is a time when you've got a lot up in the air. You're moving, from one flat to another, and there's a lot going on. How do I know that the technician's going to show up, that my product's going to show up? I want to change the order. These are all things that a user goes through, and it's super stressful. And by the way, these big life moments that happen, if they're going to talk about a brand, good or bad, it's going to happen with these big type events in their lives. Oh, you moved, how did it go? And then that opens up an opportunity for a good NPS interaction or a bad one. But let's say, again, these customers have all these worries that are going through their head. And in the old days, the way we would have done that was you ordered the service, we show up on the date we said. There's a lot going on in that moment for the customer to start to say, hey, look, I'm not sure what's going to happen. And so we changed, and now we have an entire move journey that says, hey, look, we will let you know these are the services you ordered. Do you consent to them? Do you agree with them? Absolutely. So you know what your first bill is going to look like. Here's your moves checklist. Here are the things to make sure that you have ready, or the products that are coming to you. There's an opportunity to interact. So if you have a question or want to make a change, again, it's all personalized to you and your experience. A quick reminder, and then when the technician's on its way or the box is on its way to be shipped to you, and you're off and running, and then you're installed. So again, it's a great example of using technology that is familiar to people like SMS, but combining it with the knowledge of what that experience is, or to telemetry from the products and the network to take care of things before they even know they're a problem. And to me, that is what scale to one means. And it's just one of the tools that we use in creating a fantastic customer experience. So listen, I want to close here and really saying, after a decade of work, I can honestly say that by centering on the customer and really focusing on their need states and what really drives them to want to use products can save a significant amount of work and really allow you to evolve your product so that you're constantly tailored to what customers' needs are, which constantly evolve themselves. The payoff's immediate and it's lasting. And when we build simple experiences, it's just got to work. Simplification is one of those. But also I would urge you to continue to think about, how am I saving time? How am I saving worry? How am I getting the customer to what they really want? And am I listening to the feedback loops in the products and elsewhere that I can do things before they even know that they want them? So again, thank you for the entire team at Sky for inviting me to participate. It's been a true pleasure. I'm delighted you have a spotlight track really focused on this really important topic at the Sky Tech Summit, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.